name is Stephanie Gonzalez Nuno from Saxby High School's Garland ISD Independent School District, and my teacher created material is a Sailboat sensory blanket. From my experience in being an FTI, I have been exposed to certain situations where I would have a student be set off by a situation that has been presented in the classroom. In most of these instances, the teacher would have to step away from her students and attend to that one specific child, while the other children are left unattended and their learning time has been decreased and taken off track because of one distraction. And the sensory blanket is meant to help that child in order the teacher to have that smaller interaction time with that one child and go back to the bigger and larger classroom. How the sensory blanket works is that you will have your student come to a separate, quiet place away from any distractions, a place where they may feel safe. It could be in your classroom's library or in the back of the class, or you can even have them step out into the hallway in front of your door where they will not disturb anyone else. You will place the sensory blanket on their lap, and the student will be playing with the zipper, unzipping the sailboats and tying up the shoelaces. They're going to be unbuttoning the compass and velcroing the lifesavers. In doing so, they will have time to calm down and regain their focus, and they will be learning how to self-soothe in the process. The sensory blanket is composed of little grains of rice, which will help with the weight and provide comfort that the child may need. And it's a blanket, so it's going to be warm and snuggly cuddly, so they will feel safe and will find comfort in the blanket. The blanket can be made in any objects that you may find in your house. I made my sensory blanket with fabrics that I had lying around the house, old t-shirts, random buttons from different shirts, and rice, which you can find in everyone's pantry. And so it's not a material that you would need to waste a lot of money on. You can make it at home or you can have it pre-made. I made mine from home from materials that I had lying around, so it's not professionally made. But I feel like it could do the job. I have set out my sensory blanket and it has worked on one of my students, and it did help them calm down. The student felt the weight from the blanket and it provided comfort on their lap, and they just started fidgeting with the sailboats and the zippers and undoing the Velcro, and you can notice right away how quickly the child went from having major distractions and having outbursts to slowly regaining their composure, quieting down, and being all good. And it's also a good way to have these kids learn new things. My students were first graders and they were barely learning how to tie your shoes. They would ask me, "Miss Stephanie, can you help me tie my shoes?" And of course, I would be more than happy to help them. But now this sensory blanket has shoelaces which they can tie up and practice how to do their knots. They can walk away from the sensory blanket knowing that A, they've learned to control their emotions, they've learned how to regain their composure, quiet down on their own time without causing a distraction to anyone else. They've learned the independence that comes from that, and they learn how to tie their shoes or zip up their zipper or button their own jackets. Do you know how prideful that child can be when packing up home from a long day after school? They come home and they can tell you, "Guess what I learned today? I learned how to button up my own jacket and tie my own shoes." Do you know how impactful that would be as a parent? And it didn't waste any time at all. It was just a little time that they took off by a little misguided train, by a little interruption that child may have gone through, but a good thing has come out of it. They learned a bunch of new little techniques that they can use throughout their life to better increase their life. And if they ever have any problems at all, they know they can go back to their sensory blanket and regain those fun little traits that they can learn from the blanket. And these these techniques that I have encouraged on the sensory blanket are pre-kindergarten techniques, and they can still be incorporated in other major elements in any other classroom. They can be used from my first graders that have worked to possibly older other elementary school students. So this sensory blanket is not just for pre-K or kinder or first grade. It can also be used in other grade levels. It is a great tool that I have proven that can work because they worked on my own students here. Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a great day.